was I would run in and it would be like, oh my God, daytime TV. And the dog would follow. And she stopped in the hallway. Here, we're flying her in. She's going to be there. So none of you can sign up because she will lose her mind. This is the first YouTube episode of Ask Iliza Anything, the podcast. Yes, you can clap. That's okay. The podcast where you, the audience, are the guest. You write in the questions that you are afraid to ask your friends, your big sister, your mom. We've been doing Ask Iliza Anything. I think it's over 300 episodes. Isn't that right?
100% it's over. It's a 316 just came out.
So we've been doing this for a while. With me, as always, Emily Higgins.
I don't know if I've ever heard you say my last name. It really threw me off.
I don't know why I said your last name. I guess I want people to dox you. I don't know.
Yeah, find me.
Yeah. You gotta find me.
I hate to interrupt. Do you want your theme song?
Oh, yeah. So can you guys just clap while we play the theme song? Here we go.
Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all the questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I got it. I got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything.
Thank you for joining us. You don't know awkwardness until you have to sit through a theme song that you recorded while you don't make eye contact with people that you made applaud sitting 5 feet from you. So this is the
long.
That was uncomfortable. But this is the podcast where you can write in all the things that you're afraid to ask everyone. This is our first installment of this as a YouTube show. And we will be We will be extracting the audio. This also will be a podcast. What?
Okay.
I'm in the middle of
You don't need to tell them every tech thing that we're going to do where the audio's good. Then we're going to upload it to Simplecast, and then I'm going to put in the metadata. Like, we don't have to go through.
Don't tell them who we're aligned with.
I think when I upload the audio, I'm going to have Scott cut all the parts where you say this is a YouTube show.
Don't do that, Scott. I dragged you up.
I do whatever she tells me to do.
Hot Scotty, everybody.
Hi.
In the sound booth. I'm going to watch this and be like, why didn't I sit back more?
Oh.
Does my waist look thin? I wanted to do this web show forever. I finally was just like, I've got to do this myself because no one's ever going to give you permission to do anything.
You could not make it sound worse than calling it a web show.
I feel so old right now. And I know we struggled with this.
Is this your first vlog? Like, what are we doing? I don't...
My Angel Fire website. It's got... When we were talking about how to introduce this, you were like, stop calling it a YouTube show. You sound 1,000 years old.
You don't need both words. It's like you.
I'm sorry I don't have like
say YouTube.
Riz. How do we even... Is it a noun?
Riz?
Gen Z's like, what's a noun?
I was Googling if I was using a meme correctly today at work, and then I just asked a younger coworker.
You got to. If you're allowed to make eye contact with them, you got to ask a younger coworker. We're going to kick it off with some of the questions. We have audience questions. We have audience members who are going to ask us questions. This is an interactive, safe space. First, we like to start every show the way every woman likes to start every conversation, with a fight. And our fight meet comes from one of my best friends, everyone's favorite Jewish person. Mayim Bialik, everybody.
Okay, I think that there are only certain flavors of bagel that should be allowed in the universe. Meaning, if it makes a better something else, it's not allowed to be a bagel flavor. So, blueberry makes a better muffin. Chocolate chip makes a better cookie. Cinnamon makes a better cinnamon roll. So, the only flavors allowed of bagels are water. That's right, water, not plain. No such thing as a plain bagel. It's called a water bagel.
Yeah.
Water, egg, sesame, garlic, salt, maybe poppy seed. Everything is just like an anglicized bagel. But most importantly, those other flavors, they should not exist. They're not bagels. They shouldn't be called bagels. I find it offensive. So fight me.
Okay, a couple things. First of all, thank you, Mayim. If people didn't know she was Jewish before. I love how she's making her argument, and as she's doing it, I'm watching all of these Gentiles go like, she's got a point, yeah, okay. And then as she's listing them, I heard some people like, come on. What flavor were you hoping she would say? Everything, me too. And then when she said it's just an anglicized, that I want to fight her on. Because I feel like everything is everything. Like, I feel like we're allowed. Emily is the least Jewish person in the world. She's like, I just eat bagel bites.
But when I got this video from you, I was so impressed by her thinking, which was, if it makes it better, something else. I was like, oh my God, that's so scientific and so true. We should apply that logic to more things.
Yeah. I think about how offensive it is as a Jew when people are like, I'll take a jalapeno cheddar. You mean queso? Like cold, thick, solid queso. No fight here except for the fact that she's got a weird issue with everything bagels. But thank you for being on the podcast, Mayim. That's our fight me. Please weigh in at home.
Comment below.
What?
Comment.
Okay, that's right. This is a YouTube show. For those of you at home, and by the way, we do want this to be the companion piece, not only to the podcast, but to a companion to anyone washing their face and you need something to look at. We want this show to be that for you. So
You
wipe
brought that
off your
up a
hands.
lot.
Comment below, like, I love a salt bagel, whatever.
I
Bagel.
would love a hand raised from everybody who watches videos while washing their face, which has been your example 10 times out of 10.
I just feel like if I do it, the amount of times I scroll through, I'm like, I want to watch just a little bit, a light lift. Sometimes I'll watch on TikTok these like Asian women who sift through crystals and like fulfill orders.
Yes,
I'm part
the
of the
little
problem.
capsules.
I've been alone in a hotel and I'm like, I need a companion. That's what we are here. And no better way to make you feel seen and not alone than by listening to the problems of other people. And that's what Emily Higgins, who lives at 255. Emily has our first quandary.
We took some questions from the audience. Not this audience. We'll
Sorry, a
get to you
different
later.
audience from another
Different
podcast.
audience. Yeah. My friend, let's call her Amy, age 35, was recently broken up with in a very cruel way after 2 years. Her and her boyfriend, mid-30s, were living together in her house. He moved in with her only a few months into dating. He sold his home, packed everything up, and they had been together ever since. Though he never unpacked his shipping pod, it just sat in the driveway. That's an important piece. Are you taking notes, Eliza? Good. Okay.
He never had a home. Scott, do we have a sound for I smell a rat?
I'll drop that in post.
He never had a home. The closest thing he had to a home was that shipping pod.
She thought things were going well. However, after a camping trip last weekend with his friends, he broke up with her. He told her he needed room to grow and she deserved a better guy and that he needed space. She tried to find a solution, such as suggesting he live in an attached apartment, but he insisted he had to move out the next day.
Oh.
So they've been living together like 2 years, and he says, I have to move out tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, it turns out
Great.
he had secretly purchased a house behind her back and was just waiting for the home to close before ending things. What makes it worse is that all his friends and family knew, meaning she was on vacation with people who knew what he was doing behind her back and that she was only days away from a surprise breakup. She ran to an old friend from high school recently, and this friend, male, mid-30s, just got divorced, and he's spending a lot of time with her to distract her from this situation. It's only been a few days since her life was turned upside down, and she wants to know if it's a good idea to just dive into hooking up with this returned friend.
Oh, yeah.
She hasn't known him since they were teens, but she wants a distraction badly. What's your take on getting over someone by getting under someone else?
Oh. That's
a real turn.
First of all, I don't think I've ever said this on the pod. I was dead wrong so fast right up top with the pod. This guy that she's sleeping with is friends with the guy.
No, this
See, they
is
all
her
thought that,
friend. No.
It wasn't
Totally
just me.
unrelated. Everything else was just to set up that she was recently broken up with, and should she get over it by sleeping with a different guy she knows.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Who cares?
I
thought this was
this
gonna
man
be-
and his house, though.
I'm sorry. Like, I thought this was going to be, like, should she let him move in? If a guy did it, we'd be like, yeah, like, man's got to eat. Girls got to eat, too. Like, these are things that we just have to do. And you're going to be the annoying friend that's like, don't sleep with him. She wants some affection. If this guy asks to move in or she's trying to start a relationship, maybe you should give her some advice on that. But, like, do you really care if she's having sex with some random dude? Nope.
I think you are partially right in that
What?
he didn't want to pay. he didn't want to pay rent on this place. So he didn't have a home, and he just stayed with her until he could close. He was like in escrow at her house, like, yeah, let's make plans for Christmas.
It doesn't matter. The question is, should I allow my friend to sleep with a random dude who's being nice to her? Like, yeah. It doesn't matter what the guy did. It could have had a separate family. Like, just be careful of, A, letting him move in, and B, like, look for some of those warning signs, because there's no way this guy, unless he's a total psychopath, which I would know something about, there's no way, watch Good on Paper, if you're a new fan to the show, there's no way that this guy was treating her completely perfectly. I think in hindsight, she's going to look back and be like, oh, yeah, he didn't show up to Christmas. Oh, yeah, there were all these, like, lease papers all over the place. And I was like, great, more for my mache. Like, this podcast runs on women being like, he has duct tape and a knife next to, what is it, not hyaluronic acid. What's the one that, chloroform? Like, ooh, hyaluronic acid. I'm going to look so young when I'm dead. All you can do is be like, hey, be careful, but there's nothing for you to do. What was her question?
Do you believe, what's your take on getting over someone by getting under someone else? And it sounds like in this particular situation, he knows this guy. Yeah, it's fine.
She's like, I brought him here. Of course, that's how the world works. If we were all healed adults who are just like, I'm going to wait until I'm mentally there to have sex with a person I deeply care about, there'd be no podcast. There'd be no sexy clothes. There'd be no trying. There'd be no Friday night date. There'd be nothing if we were all fully formed people responsibly. So glad you laughed when I yelled, because that was going to fall so flat. Leave your friend alone. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah,
kudos to her for owning a home.
I know. Clap for this moment. Don't let people move into your nice home.
Takes two to tango. It doesn't sound like a great relationship anyway. Right?
No.
I know it's weird that I'm not looking at you guys, but I want the viewer at home who I don't know is a fan yet. I already have you. I want to make sure that they feel connected. The producer said if you look at them, then they feel engaged. And normally we have chairs here, so it looks like I'm looking at them, but right over them, which is normally how I look at male comics. And so, you are worthy, you are valuable, but I have to look this way.
I'm kind of looking at the audience, but from behind, I can see the backs of some of your heads. How do you feel about that?
This? That's weird.
Hi, polite.
She went like this.
What a polite audience.
Hey.
Hi, Liza and Emily.
Yep. Do I look weird? Does this look okay? This chair is so deep. I look great. Thank you.
I'm seeing
Does my
the
neck
wide
match
shot.
my face? I didn't want to do concealer on my neck because I didn't want to get it on the shirt because I didn't want to have to wash the shirt. Because it's like a nice material and I don't know how to wash that. I just didn't want to wash my shirt, so I didn't make up my clavicle area.
I mean, I'm at home, so
Oh, really, Emily?
PJ pants. I'm not wearing real pants, so.
She stands up, she's just got a full sequin ball gown.
Hi, Liza and Emily. I have a question about my in-laws. I'm 38 and I've been married to my husband, Andrew, 36, for 4 years. I love his family, but his mother is a hoarder.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
Hoarder.
I was like, wow, good for her. Okay.
Both parents work full-time and are in their 60s. They don't have the time to clean and organize. When we go to their house for holidays and visits, we stay in their remodeled basement, but even that has been taken over by his grandmother's things, who she just moved in. We currently have a 3-year-old and another baby due in March. We have our 3-year-old wear shoes the whole time we are at my in-laws, and I don't love the idea of having a baby in this environment. Is there a way to clean and organize their home without offending them or crossing boundaries? I have a good relationship with my in-laws and don't want to ruin it. However, their house is in desperate need of a clean organization. Thank you for all you do, Iliza.
I love that name. And
I might have said it wrong.
You're like, it's spelled L-I-S-A. Am I saying this? This I will file under the category of a type of question we get a lot on this podcast, as the people here can attest to, which is your husband, Andrew, needs to be the one to say something because it's his parents. And it goes back to the advice that my own mother gave me on my wedding, which was, don't get between them. What? What is it? No, I want to know. Oh, I thought this was like, she's so smart. Like, she's so right. And you're like, nope, it's a mosquito. The producer was walking up with a microphone. It's a mosquito. It's a mosquito in the dead of fall. Like, where did it come from? You will be made to look like the bitch if you are the one that says something. And once again, we have the husband just like sitting pretty like, I don't know. Those are his kids too. That is your child's health. Like something is going off in your brain because you're like, I'm in this filthy studio with all these mosquitoes. No, you're like, and I know as women, people get angry when we talk about how we don't feel safe. But the most precious thing in the world is your child's safety. It's going to hurt a hell of a lot less if it comes from the husband first. You don't want to get between because then it'll be like, oh, well, she has a problem with our home. Well, maybe she shouldn't come and you can just come with the kids. And then you're cut out and no one's talking and your kids are still getting tetanus from stepping on like an easy bake oven from the 60s that grandma brought. And if they're good people, they'll be like, okay, well, at least we'll let you pay for it. But you cannot endanger your child for the comfort of other people. So... Sponsored by Lysol. Let's do an audience question. Let's get them involved. Let's look at them. You're going to read your question because you said you were game for it in the waiver that you signed.
Stephanie A.
Stephanie A.
Yes. Okay. Please. Your question was nice and juicy seeming.
Thanks. Hi.
Hi.
Also, I did the fight me with the handshake, the women handshake.
That we shouldn't shake hands.
It's so annoying. I actually have a friend who intervenes now and says she doesn't shake hands.
I just say I'm sick.
That's one thing.
Or I give a light kiss. Toll booths, construction workers.
I'm going to try to do this succinctly. So.
Okay, here's her question.
I joined a trip with my mother, her boyfriend, and their friends that are a couple. And the woman, we'll call her Stacy, was acting mercurial, a little ornery while we were the first few days. And so we're out to dinner. I'm sitting between my mother and Stacy. And this Stacy's on her phone, and we open up the menu. So I look to the left side of the menu, and her phone's like flashing
in
at
huge
me.
font because it's your mom's
That's
friend.
exactly right. And I see her writing that my mother is acting horrible and selfish.
Yeah.
I think
Selfish and rude.
Was it
That's
rude?
it, selfish and rude.
It was rude.
And then I sat for a few minutes, and I don't get mad like I used to, but it was
What was that?
cooking.
What's that? Because I hear an East Coast accent. So, like, what's like, is it like Teresa Giudice, like, prostitution hot? Like, is it flip a table man?
My hormones are a little bit more
Okay.
under control now. They're under control now.
Okay.
Before they weren't. I said to Stacey, I saw what you wrote, and I think that's kind of mean.
Did you lean over and say it, or did you wait till, like, she got up?
No, I turned, she was on my left, so I said to her, I said, by the way, I saw what you wrote about my mother, and I think that's mean, and also to do it right now. We're sitting right here. And her only response was, did you tell your mother? And I said, yeah, she's my mother. So
You work so quickly. So stealth.
my mother, she said, oh, it's okay. She said, don't worry about it at all, no, Stacey, I don't care.
Yeah.
But Stacey flipped out on me.
Just then.
How could you? How could you do that? So would you have said something? It was my question. Would you have said something to her?
How close are you to Stacy?
Not very.
Would I have, or should you have? Is what your question?
Should I have?
I don't know that I'd say something to the woman unless I had prior knowledge to like maybe what they were talking about. But when it comes to like old lady beef, like you don't know, which is a porn category. Emily's like my favorite film category. You kind of just never know, and that's so uncomfortable. You took up for your mom, but you don't know if your mom was like, what if she was secretly being a giant bee to that woman before? Unless I knew exactly what was going on, it would be hard for me to intervene or care about what had happened.
No, my mother's the most passive person. She's definitely not confrontational, nor is she.
Which would make it even more delicious if your mom was just secretly
Like, kind of knowing it.
awful. And you're like, she's the sweetest woman. And she's like, that's right, officer. Couldn't have been me. I understand the instinct to protect your mom. Like, she's your mom, and she's the sweetest woman ever. And even if she isn't, like, we all know what it's like to have something said horribly about us or in a comment section to us. Like, it's a pretty bad feeling. I guess I wouldn't have said anything to the friend, but I would have told my mom, and then I would have scooted my chair out from the table, pushed them together, and I would have gone to the bathroom for a very long time.
I made the trip so awkward for the next few days after that.
And you were on a trip. You got to be Italian. Are you Italian?
No,
Jewish? Okay. Either way, you were like, I did that. Now you do it. Well, thank you for writing in. I respect that you stood up for your mother.
If I was texting about someone who's at the same table, which I do 100% all the time,
Yeah.
and then they saw and turned to me and said something, my blood would run so
You
cold.
just turn. Or when you text someone about them and it goes
The
to
wrong
them.
person. You can feel, and to go back, I'll go back and make sure, because I talk a lot of and I'll go back and make sure I didn't send it to the person like 6 times. Like, I didn't send it to them, right? They weren't copied on this email, right?
I've had that. I've sent the email to the wrong person even after we squashed it. And I was like, okay, we can totally do this. And then I sent an email to the team being like, I don't want to do it. And they saw it. And I was like, well, this is how I really feel.
You handled it very gracefully.
I
I just
own it.
lie.
Yeah.
No.
And you would lie.
I was
and go hide.
texting someone else I hate about another person with the same name.
I had it happen once. I had like dated someone and then like we broke up, but we were all like with a friend group out, and I texted, he's sitting right across from me, and I sent it to him. And he sent the screen grab of what I said back to me, and I just looked, it was so cinematic, and he just looked at me. And I was like, are we getting chips?
Did you want more problems or did you want a confession?
I have a video I made to intro the confession segment. The budget on this video, it was extensive. Thank you. Thank you. Confessions is where an anonymous person leaves a voice note, and we, as Emily put it the other day, deep throat it. That way no one knows they're there, and they confess things that are burning in their hearts and minds, and we all cringe along with them. So this is a confession. Are you kidding me with this? I can't understand this.
The other night at 14 orders, 9 of them didn't tip me.
You can't.
Okay, you gotta stop, Scott.
Okay.
It sounds like he's gonna say, take me to your leader.
Did I go too deep cover on that one?
Play the original. Somebody wrote this in. I said it.
It's actually Emily's voice, but it's not Emily's confession. Do not email her.
I deliver pizza for a little neighborhood joint called Domino's. Being a single mom of 3 kids, I heavily rely on my tips. The other night out of 14 orders, 9 of them didn't tip me. I found myself vigorously shaking the bags that contained soda as I speed walked with my arm or skipped the door and sweetly picture the surprise as they open it to choke down their cheap dinner. The other day, I witnessed a coworker shaking a bag vigorously that contained a small pizza before she put it in her car. Contactless? I asked her. Yup, it's an extravaganza, so all their toppings are flying off, she exclaimed. This is what happens when you don't tip your servers.
This is a confession. She didn't ask for advice, and I'm thankful for that. Here's what I will tell you. You are unfortunately a small cog caught up in the machinations of a bullshit system, which is tipping before service. It's insane that that system of that contactless payment doesn't allow them, like an Uber driver, to tip you after. But I think you're well within your right to shake those sodas. If you have enough money to order in pizza, I don't care if it's Domino's Pizza, then you need to pay into the system that is providing it. Or just go pick up your own Little Caesars hot and ready to go. Could also be a sponsor. Pizza. Double counterpoint, large corporations should pay people enough so that they can live off of one job and not pass that cost on to the customer. Coffee shops. I think in a world where we are caught up in these systems that you did not sign up for, be it customer service or you can't get off email lists, you have to do what you can, to quote Roosevelt, with what you have where you are. Even if that means tiny anarchy, little fires that get snuffed out immediately. You shook that soda, my fellow American, and you don't even know how that soda will wreak havoc on their carpet. But the point is you did it. That is, in this economy, all the power that you can grasp. And I support you.
The idea of handing someone you don't like a pre-shaken soda, like, here you go.
It's
really
such an
thrills
80s
me.
prank.
Here you go.
Little things, and then the deliciousness of just sitting there. It's actually part of my top of the cob. So this is actually quite prescient that this is being brought up. I'm excited to share with you what an awful person I am. More on that later.
Let's ask another question.
Okay.
This is from a man. We need to
Yay!
flag that. Don't like cheer for him, but it is different. I am a 48-year-old male with a dad bod, but I'm not a dad. I've had one mistake. Not saying marriage as a concept is a mistake, but that one was, that lasted 5 years and ended in divorce. I'm a bit of an introvert. I'm not religious, and I'm a liberal in a very conservative state, so my only friends are people I know through work. Almost 5 years ago, My mother moved in with me. She had some health problems, a couple surgeries, and a house that was falling down around her. I was dating a train wreck of a woman at the time, and I've had one short relationship since. My mother was not the deal breaker, but she was a very large contributor to that last relationship ending. It's been about 3 years now being single, and it feels like it's going to be forever. When I see an attractive woman in public, I do my best to look away and avoid eye contact. What's the point? What woman wants to date a man that has his mom for a roommate?
You'd be surprised.
Here's my question. Should I give up on companionship completely or start the apps again and just put in my profile full disclosure my mother lives with me? That would probably scare off 99% of ladies. However, if I don't put it out up front, I'm not sure I'll be able to take rejection after rejection when they do find out. Thank you, Mike.
Mike, thank you so much for
Mike.
your question. Let's welcome Mike. The issue is not your mother. The issue is you. And I say that with a lot of love. You're not going to ever meet someone feeling bad for yourself, sitting in your house. It's not a Hallmark movie. Some Domino's delivery person isn't going to like shake your soda and be like, wait, oh, hi. And I'm Susan. You have a very slight, my friend, chip on your shoulder about the way that love has worked out for you. It's not ideal that your mother lives with you, but if you were a good guy, solid guy, you don't have to be attractive, just a good guy, and you own your own home, plenty of women would think that that was really sweet. Because remember, your mother lives with you. If you lived with your mother, you would be saying mean things in my comment section. You wouldn't be listening to this. You would never find this. Your mother lives with you. That is an incredibly kind thing. And you're being very sweet to her. You don't have to do this, but she has nowhere else to go. You are a good person doing a good thing. Get on those apps, dust yourself off, get you a gay male friend and a female friend, a regular female friend, who can show you how to dress, who can show you how to dress right, have some confidence, and put yourself out there. Love is not going to find you like all squirreled up in your house with your mom, and you're only going to get weirder and weirder, okay? You're a homeowner, you're a man, and you have a mom that loves you. You're doing better than most.
But it really is in the telling of it. The fact that he wants to put on his profile, like, FYI, my mom lives with me. It's like,
you don't need to.
Say, if you want to say something, it's like, hey, by the way, my mother just supported me. Like, she's retired now, so she lives with me, so I can keep an eye on her.
You don't put that in your profile.
My house, like...
You don't put it in your profile.
You don't say it at all? Because
No.
he's saying that once people find out...
We all have things that are not perfect about us that you reveal, and this need to like be like, here's all of my garbage and all of my baggage right up top. Not everybody needs to know everything, and there is something to be said for someone liking you enough. And if you're super charming and you're cute and all this stuff, and you say, I own my home and my mom lives with me, she's not doing well, that woman might be like, oh my God, that's so sweet. And then, Mike, your personality will ruin the rest of it. That's right. It's your mother and you're helping her. So that's the truth.
Next, do you want a petty problem or a family dysfunction problem?
Do we want a petty problem? Is it a short petty one?
It's...
Everyone was like, petty.
Petty. Okay. I'm flying in to visit my best friend this weekend. I am 27 and live in D.C. She is 29 and just moved to NH for her new job. She said there are flights from an airport minutes from my apartment, DCA, to an airport minutes from her house, MHT. How perfect. But when my husband and I sat down to book, we realized we had no option but to fly out of an airport 1.5 hours from our apartment, BWI, into an airport 1 hour away from her house, BOS. That was the only way to get dates and times that worked, and it was also the only affordable option. I told her the dates we found, asked if she'd be able to pick us up from the airport in Boston. She told me no, because she's not comfortable driving in Boston. Granted, the flight lands after 11 p.m. when there will be less traffic.
Okay, no, not less traffic. Don't put a spin on it.
We ended up booking the flight after putting some thought into it. My husband and I rented a car, which was still much cheaper than flying into the airport near our house, but I'm pretty hurt by this.
No.
I drive friends to and from faraway airports and train stations without batting an eyelash.
No.
If they're taking the time and expenses to come see me, then it's the least I can do. Is this normal?
Listen to me. I don't take my mother to the airport.
Eliza, I feel like...
What?
Yeah, I feel like David Beckham in that video where Victoria Beckham says, like, oh, we were kind of poor. And he pops in, like, Eliza, who do you get to pick up your mom at the airport?
My assistant. And I was going to reveal it. You monster! But doesn't it show that I still take... I paid you. I paid Danielle. And I cover some of the gas. I'm a cool boss. I'm an awesome person to work for. People love working overtime. I have called my mother, independent of having an assistant that I do finance. I have called Ubers for my family.
Yes.
Both directions. Because after the age of 25, like, you can take care of yourself. We're not doing it. The other level of complexity, first of all, you're with a man, so you are a little bit safer. And it's after 11. So your friend who lives in New Hampshire, I get that. That's kind of far to drive. And Boston is a big city. Yes, there'll be less traffic, but that is scary. They have a lot of bridges, whatever. Your friend told you what she was willing to do and not willing to do. You bought it anyway, and you were hoping that she would do it anyway.
But I do understand why this person feels kind of hurt that they're taking their PTO, they're flying into her city to see her, and she's like, I mean, if it's convenient for me, I guess.
If you go and it's a bad visit, and she's like, here's a cot, I forgot to clean it after the mice left, like, then... like, don't visit her. I don't know that it equates, like, I made the trip, so you have to pick me up. Like, that's some weird girl math. I'm not picking anyone up. Airport pickup and asking someone to move, we don't ask these things in our late 20s. Like, 25 is the cutoff. You're asking me to help you move. You can't afford to move.
Hi, Iliza. I am a single woman veteran of the Army of 13 years. 38-year-old female from Texas, working as a counselor with those who have disabilities to help them find work. My question, how do I end a friendship as the result of a bad vacation?
Ooh.
Yeah. I was going to travel alone on a cruise. I've done so before and had a blast. At the last minute, I invited a close friend that I had not traveled with before. I had been stationed with her in the past. I invited her as a nice gesture. We get along as we text daily, talk daily, but never traveled together. I paid for every single thing short of airfare, drinks, spa, and excursions, extra cost dinner, knowing she would never have this opportunity again. Starting the morning of the cruise, the complaining started. The berating of me being inconsiderate for use of my room cabin space and her replying, oh, I didn't need it anyway, after I cleaned out drawers in a shared closet. She proceeded to complain about the theme nights being stupid and not 80s enough. She then went on to hate the spa temperature, the food, blame me for her fibromyalgia pains, as well as complain when I had different bedtimes and wake-up times than her. I tried to stand up for myself and she berated me and told me I was a pathetic victim player. I was trying to give her this trip out of the kindness of my heart. She and I stopped speaking. The cruise line unfortunately made a mistake and refunded her money that was mine, saying I would have to work it out with her to get it back.
How did they even have her banking info?
I guess she probably put her card down for like the room or something, because it was only $170, not a huge amount when I spent $6,000 on this cruise. We were in a suite class, by the way. My question. I took her off the next cruise we were scheduled to go on. Do I wait for her to figure it out as I've removed her from the reservation via my travel agent, or do I have a heart-to-heart and tell her?
Are you bulk reserving these cruises?
I worry that I'm a pathetic, stupid person for being this nice and that I'm going to be taken advantage of again. How do I know going forward how to make friends and not be too nice or not try too hard? I loved seeing you in San Antonio when you announced your pregnancy. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Does she need to tell this person, hey, you're not coming on the next cruise with me? And number two, this person is clearly like buying friendship. Like, she's paying for all this stuff. How does she make friends not through this?
First of all, you need to forget about that $170. She doesn't legally owe you this money. And I guess I'm sad for you that even if she was grateful, you're probably a good enough person that you don't have to do all of this up top. I think you just need to wash your hands of this. You don't need to inform her about anything. You can just cut off. You don't want to be friends with this.
No, she said she's going with her. She booked her on the next cruise with her, but now she just canceled her reservation without telling her. Tell her, since you hated the first cruise we went on, don't worry. You're not coming to the next one.
I don't even know if it's worth doing that, because you don't sound like a confrontational person. Send her the professional email that's like reservation canceled, and then just don't talk to her again. And just know that in general, you don't ever need to buy another person's friendship. And it's okay to be sweet. Like, I'm a very giving friend, but I gotta see an ROI. I get that you were stationed together in the military, but I wonder if you look back if any of those red flags were there.
When she was in the military and this person was complaining, like, oh, it sucks being in the military, getting up. She's like, yeah, it does. But now on the cruise, she's doing the same thing. And it's like, we're not in Kuwait. Like, this is nice.
Yeah. That's why they say embrace the suck. Like, because even if she was amazing, it's still like a lot of, you don't make that much money. And I want you to keep your money and spend it on things that you deserve. You could have gotten so many extra margarita bonuses and four-handed massages and Disney ice pops and shrimp crowns and tickets in line to do the Macarena, whatever is on a cruise.
Whatever happens there.
You could have
Have you ever been on a cruise?
I did a semester at sea, which is not a cruise, but we were on a boat. Oh, gee, I was on a ship.
Yeah, but you weren't like on a water slide.
One time I went with my mom somewhere. Bermuda, went from Florida to Bermuda to Portugal. This is a very long time ago. And everyone there was like older. That was fine. How drunk can I get every night and find like 3 young people to talk to? And I did that. We're still in touch.
Yeah, so that's what our question asker should do. Stephanie should just find some other people on the cruise.
Everyone here agrees. You're better than that. Yeah, they'll be your friends. And if you want to find some real friends, you could always join the Ask Iliza Anything Patreon, which is free, and a lot of people are connecting, mostly on looking at other people's pets. I thought it would be more than that, but it's just mostly people looking at everyone's pets. That's our Patreon.
Let's bring that community back together. Do another audience question. Do we have a Darcy in the crowd? Darcy.
There she is. She's very bubbly.
Right.
Yeah, of course you can stand Darcy, if you prefer. For anyone listening at home, there is a dog under my chair, and she gets upset when people stand up. She's okay. I think she's sleeping.
My best friend, we've been friends for 25 years, and her sister, we would all hang out, and there was a disagreement between the sister and my bestie. And the sister basically stopped speaking to her sister. We're not hanging out anymore, essentially. My bestie and I are still close. But the sister, who we all hung out, we were all very good friends, but she stopped talking to me. It's been a while now, but...
What's a while?
A year? No, okay. It's been a year. Almost a year. And so, should I have done anything? Should I have said anything to the sister? Because, I mean, we're friends, but...
You still can.
I still can.
Right now. You have your phone?
Yeah.
No. Do you want me to call her?
No.
I feel like a mom, like, you want me to do it? You can reach out to her, because you didn't do anything.
No.
So she probably feels like you've been poisoned by the sister, her sister, and she's probably embarrassed. And I don't know. Of course, I'd like to know the details of what happened.
It was a buildup of things that, like, with their relationship, nothing happened between the sister and I, but
who was wrong?
But you're an extension of the friend, just like the sister is an extension of the sister.
Yeah.
Whose relationship is more important to you? Your best friend or the friend?
My bestie, yeah.
Yeah.
Will it bother your best friend?
Will it bother your best friend?
I don't know.
Talk to her first. And she will tell you, no, do it. But what she really means is, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Normally, I wouldn't ask for permission for anyone, but it's going to make even more drama if your best friend is like, so you're calling Susan?
Yeah.
And you guys are like, what, hanging out? And you're like, it was just one latte. And she's like, okay, cool. You guys have fun getting married. I think you're feeling slighted because you're like, what did I do? And I loved you. But that is a family issue. And even if you guys become friends, like, cool. Now you're like, hey, I'm hanging out with your sister that you don't talk to.
Yeah.
Now you're stuck in between. You almost want to say to her, like, I just want to let you know that I love you and I'm sorry that this has happened. And maybe that will, like, bring them back together. But your relationship and loyalty is to the best friend.
I mean, that's how I felt about it.
The sister's sister was okay throwing you out with the bathwater. So perhaps you don't mean as much to her as you thought because you're a woman. Like, we are not okay with people not liking us, especially because you did nothing wrong. Maybe you have to be a little bit okay with it.
Yeah. And I am.
You seem great.
I'm fine.
Pretty, like, jaunty.
From the booth here, she didn't take you on a cruise, did she?
No comment.
No. She's like, I did pay her back. Okay.
We have another very specific question. My husband started doing freelance photography about 2 years ago. It started as more of a hobby.
This one is so good. I normally don't read them ahead of time because I'm just pretty good in the moment, but this is a good one.
Casually hobby, doing family shoots or engagement shoots for friends. They usually would just tip him or take him out to dinner as a thank you because he was initially doing it for practice and not charging. Within the last 9 months or so, he's had many local businesses reach out to him through word of mouth to do different photography projects. It's been a nice surprise because he hasn't put much effort into marketing himself, but businesses have just been falling in his lap. These are real clients who are willing to pay professional photography prices. He has done at least 6 of these shoots, and after delivering the albums, has never invoiced them for it. They have asked him for invoices and to just send them the bill for whatever it costs, and my husband just never follows up or claims he will eventually invoice them. I am getting so frustrated because it seems like he doesn't care about getting paid, and it's a bad look to never follow up and then come back asking for money 6 months later.
You can't, yep.
After many gentle probes of asking the status of his payments, he finally admitted he's uncomfortable asking for money and doesn't feel professional enough to be charging people. He's his own worst critic. I've offered to help in any way because he's definitely more the creative type and does not excel in the administrative side of having a side hustle. He says he doesn't need my help, and I feel like a nagging wife asking over and over. We are both 29 and could very much use the extra money. Eliza, I feel like you understand how to value yourself given that you are an entrepreneur, essentially selling your personality.
Overvalue myself.
How can I encourage my husband to be motivated to get paid and take advantage of this potential income, or should I just stay out of it? And if he wants to just volunteer and work for free, accept it. Sincerely, a loving wife who is daydreaming about the home renovations we could do.
It's very sweet, and it's tough because you almost want to say to your husband, like, either do it completely or do not do it at all. If this were a hobby, it would take up less time. But this is taking time away from me, away from us, and time away from other things that you could be doing to make money. We are married, so we are in this together. If we were billionaires and you want to go fly fishing, great. But there are goals that we have together. Give me your contact list. I will do the invoices. My own parents are like this. My stepmom does the invoicing. My dad does the lessons, whatever. Take it off his plate. People are paying you, and I want that ensuite. My husband is the best guy I know, and there have been times, not directly about this, where I've been like, here's the truth. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to help you. And you'd be surprised when, like, you roar back at a man, how they're like, okay, if you're going to help me. It's for the two of you. You are on this path together. You are married. The decisions that both of you make affect the whole as a unit. The whole as a unit. Expect your whole and his unit. You're in this together. That's all. That's what a marriage is. Otherwise, you'd just be two best friends.
Right. I do think she's saying that she's
right.
Yes, and correct. Yes, and she's offered to do the admin and he doesn't want her to. So I wonder if coming in with like some hard numbers where it's like, okay, these 5 photographers who you and I have talked about and laughed about how bad they are charge X amount.
Yes.
So let's charge set a rate, and where you've done all the research, like, it doesn't matter if you think you're good. You know, you're better than this guy. You can charge what this guy charges.
When you charge what you want to charge, especially if it's like a little bit higher than you thought, people don't balk at it. They're like, oh, I must be getting some value here. And so never go, maybe forget all the gigs from before. It is tough to invoice someone 6 months later. It makes me not respect the business. And I'm like, legally, I don't think, I mean, you do have to pay them, but you're like, but you didn't ask us for a while. Start now.
It's weirdly rude. Like, it's rude in that, like, they're wondering when the other shoe is going to drop. Like, they're trying to settle accounts. And they just have this waving in the wind. Like, maybe if he's a real people pleaser, he'll respond to, you're inconveniencing these other people by not letting them just pay you and check it off their list.
If he's a people pleaser, you can be the ball buster. Like, you can be the black and white numbers person. You like doing it. You're good at it. Show him how much money in total he could have charged. Give him those numbers and be like, I will handle it. But you're disrespecting our relationship and our time together by not factoring me into this decision making. And try yelling it. Try yelling topless. That way everybody wins. Just jiggling.
All right, we are going to do Top of the Cob.
It's time for Top of the Cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite. Top of the cob.
I made that. I didn't make the cobbler. Shout out to my assistant, Danielle. I just texted her one day. I was like, I need a rose and I need cobbler. Because I did the confessions and then she came back and then she ate the cobbler. So everybody won.
Picked him up on the way home from the airport.
Yeah. For those of you tuning in for the first time, Top of the Cob is a segment where we share something that you love. It can be a sweater when it fits great because it's warm out of the dryer, even though it shrank. And then we do a bottom of the cob, which can be anything from someone not having their order when you got up to the cash register at a coffee shop to global hunger. But the more specific and human it is, the better. And it is called Top of the Cob because we here at Ask Eliza Anything believe that the best part of a cobbler is the top of it. And it has made making merch really difficult to explain to an artist what like a cobbler would look like.
Yeah, when you try to look at that lovely video you captured, it's not like gorgeous looking. You're not like, ooh, a pile of mush.
And she grimaced. The people in the front were like, ugh.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite.
It was a fresh piece of cobbler right from the grocery store, and it looks digested and regurgitated.
I like a food that looks like it's already been eaten.
It's bad.
But
yeah.
It's not great for merch.
All the more reason just to eat the top part. My bottom of the cob is a raw hem. I hate it. I put other visuals in the Dropbox, please. I, first of all, loathe this boot look. Designers were like, how about a palazzo pant? Well, what the do you wear with it in the winter? How about these hooves? I hate it. It was a trend that was supposed to be exactly that, a trend. There is no punk rock in a $400 pair of pants. It's right up there with studs and painted on skulls and like born to love and live. It's just, even at a lower price point, and I did include, Your Honor, a lower price point.
This is what you did. That was the one that you like cut out the background.
What
really
is the vibe? Like, I was
show.
on a desert island for a little, like, it's like annoyingly faux beachy, and it's every pair of pants. I like a hem. Hem your garment and let me buy something of quality with real design. Beat that.
My bottom is...
I'm looking around to see any raw hems in this audience.
I downloaded the Facetune app and signed up for a free trial because I wanted to change there was like a lump in a shirt, and I was like, I'll just edit it on my phone easily. It looks so much better when you Facetune.
Looking better is your bottom of the cob?
No, the fact that now I know this is how the other half lives. You're all paying for Facetune and getting nice photos where your hair isn't sticking up in the middle like alfalfa. I'm just letting it all ride. I'm just putting it on there.
Yeah.
And I open this and it's just like AI enhancing. Boom, this is so much better than you've ever looked. And I was like, I can't have this power, and I canceled the free subscription. I was
Good
like,
for you. Good for you.
But
As we're all
shocking.
Facetuning ourselves, we're like, stay ugly. That's great. I
This
Facetuned
technology.
those raw hem pants, and
that's the problem.
it is a slippery slope because once you post like that, people expect you to look like that. So good for you for not swallowing that pill.
I once, on a date, the guy said, you really look like your photos. And I was like, yeah.
You're like, thank you.
Right.
Oh, was it? Oh wow, or like, oh wow, you
It
really
was
look
kind
like
of,
your-
it was like kind of
Good
a like
for
a
you.
good on you. Like, you know
Yeah.
what? You're out there really being authentic. Like, good luck to you. Good on you.
Does anyone else have a bottom of the cob they'd like to share? It's
Maybe
gonna
a
look real bad for our web series if you. Oh, there's one. Thank God. Okay, would you like to come up?
Just stand in between us.
And no, come stand here.
Oh boy.
So what I was thinking of is I hate it when customer service people lie. Because I flew in today and we had a rental car and they said they come every 10 to 15 minutes to pick you up. And then I called and they said every 20 minutes to pick you up.
Talking about the shuttle for the rental at the airport.
And it took over a half an hour before they finally showed up. And it's just, if they said it'll be a half an hour, fine. But they said 10 minutes. And then it was a half an hour.
What time did you land?
2.
That's rush hour. Anytime you said I would have said it was rush hour.
We made it here with 12 minutes to spare.
Did you fly in just for this?
No, we were... but I entered this just because we were coming.
I love that. What are you here for?
We are going to Disneyland. So.
I think there's always a disconnect between the person doing the action and the person programming for the action. So you got stuck in that machine. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Do you want to shame the rental car company?
No.
Thank you so much for contributing your bottom of the cob. And now it's time for top of the cob. My top of the cob is going to, it's not going to engender me to anyone, and I think you might be like, oh, I don't know if I like her. But you're already here, and you had the pizza, and thank you, Spindrift, for the soda. My top of the cob is the delicious, like, micro parade you get to throw yourself when someone you don't like, for whatever reason, this can't be like, oh, you assaulted someone I knew, but like, oh, you're a piece of shit, or you were rude to me once, when something bad happens to them that doesn't correlate karmically with what they've done. For example, if you date someone and they cheat on you, and then you find out 5 years later that they got cheated on or their wife left them, no. What I want is, oh, you were a dick to me in a green room, you said something rude, and then 10 years later, your sitcom got canceled. I don't even care that you're doing better than me. What's delicious is that it came around and eventually something got you. And although you're celebrating in a mansion and I am just trying to get this web show off the ground, what I know is that your show was canceled because you were a shitty person. Gotcha. You see? You see what happens? It feels great. You know what I'm talking about? Yes! The internet would have you believe, like, wow, that's really petty. Everybody feels this way. If you were rude to me, I want you to get food poisoning publicly 9 years later on a cruise. That's what I want. Cosmic retribution. So evil. Yes.
My top of the cow is definitely not going to engender anyone to me.
What's yours?
It is.
Okay.
My cat's maybe killed a lizard. It was maybe already dead, I hope. I was so sad. I took it outside to bury it. I've always wanted to pick up one of these lizards. It's dead. I could pick it up because I can't escape. I'm like standing there holding it. I was on a grass leaf. I'm just looking at it like, this is so in Eliza's face. Like,
oh no, I speak for the people, all of our faces.
No,
like, you want to touch a dead...
that.
What grown woman is like, I've always wanted to touch one of these lizards?
Because I can now, but I feel like it's like how people feel about pimple pop videos, which make me feel sick and disgusted. But it's just that thing of like, I'm looking at it and it's here, and I buried it in the yard. So it's okay, and I'm fine, and that was great. Do we want to get the audience? Somebody do a top of the cob? Someone else?
This is your top of the cob that you picked up a dead animal and got to stare at it?
Yeah, that I got to get a real close look.
Yeah. Okay. Like, I've just invested so much time with you. And so much
of this web show canceled.
Okay. We'll just edit this out.
We got to do an audience cob.
Nope.
Top of the cob.
Yep.
One.
We should. Tiny one. Yes. Where do you want me? Yeah, you got come here. I just stand next to you.
Stand uncomfortably, right in the middle.
She doesn't like the scarf. It's upsetting.
Sean Fu will get mad.
She's like, I'm not taking it off.
I feel like mine might be a little too wholesome for this.
Good!
Anything after following Emily's weird death confession.
My top of the cob, because I'm a basic white girl fall bitch. Mine is a really lovely, like, cleansing, cool air, deep breath. It makes me feel really happy.
Am I making you nervous?
I know. I do this. I do this.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
And she's scared of me after what I just said.
No, I'm embarrassed that it's so visible. I didn't realize I did this so bad.
Okay, go ahead.
No,
Not to the audience. Do you want to swap? Yeah, this is very
If
chill.
you're just now tuning in, it's a cool cleanse. It's breathing?
Yeah, so like if like the air outside is nice and cool, you take a deep breath of it and it burns just a little bit. That makes me feel really good, and that's my top of the cup.
Is that even if it's already been cold for a while, or just like, oh, it's been so hot in LA and now like today it was like the first cold day, hence your adorable scarf, right?
Yes.
So it has to be because it was hot, juxtaposed with heat, not like if you live in Alaska.
Actually, that is true because born and raised Massachusetts, so we know like cold. It gets in your bones and then you feel it and it burns you.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my top of the cup.
That's a great one. Do you want help out? She's like a deer. It was so she would like just naturally, it was like, I'll just pose. Like, it would take every joint muscle, like strength in me to do that. Please keep sending in those questions. Make sure to join the free, for now, Patreon. All right, you want to say that? Go ahead, you do it.
Stop telling them it's free for now. It's free.
We all know there'll be a paywall one day. It's free.
Don't
Join the
tell
free
them.
Okay, fine. We've created a very special community, and we love doing the show. Listen to Ask Eliza Anything wherever you purchase fine podcasts, and we hope you enjoyed this time with us. Thank you for coming.